This is Eagle Owl, and today I'll be talking about James Bradberry. Yes, it's June 3rd, and James Bradberry's still on our team. Also, we got to talk about punishment. It's on the way, man. It's coming, but it might be small, might be nothing. But let's get straight into it. All right, so before we get straight into it, I want to talk about my last video a little bit because there's stuff I forgot to mention about the wizard man, Howie Roseman. Now, at one point, we had in 2020, at one point, Miles Sanders, Travis Fulgham, and Greg Ward as our core. So now, 2024, you have Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, and Devontae Smith. Howie Roseman deserves all the praise he is getting. He turned this thing around. Yes, did he mess it up by some bad draft picks? Absolutely. But I believe those bad draft picks made the Howie we love today. Like, I don't think he make another JJ Ortega Whiteside mistake or a Jalen Rager mistake. I think he's going to get the best guy available at all times, especially in the position of need. Because when he messed up with the Rager thing, the JJ Ortega Whiteside thing, he was over analyzing. Like, oh, we need a speedster, so let me get Jalen Rager instead of Justin Jefferson. Oh, we need a jump ball guy in the red zone. Let me get a JJ Ortega Whiteside over DK Metcalf. But he changed that because I believe AJ Brown is better than DK Metcalf. I can't say Devontae Smith is better than Justin Jefferson, but Devontae Smith is solid. He is solid, and what, a Heisman winner? You can't go wrong with that. You cannot go wrong with that at all. And PFN got them as the best duo in the league, which I agree. I agree. I think it's between them and the Dolphins. If you like the Ferraris, this and that, I say the Dolphins. But if you like, them G Wagons and big body guys, and we got the Ferrari on the side, I say rock with the Eagles. Rock with the Eagles, man. But this ain't the time to praise Howie Roseman because he might get punished for something he did. And that's the Saquon Barkley thing. Just a refresher, this is why we might get punished. And shout out to James Franklin, but let me play the clip.
Come back and be able to play within the state. In Philadelphia, he said that was one of the first things that Howie said to him on the phone as part of kind of his sales pitch to him, was not only the Philadelphia Eagles and that, but obviously the connection with Penn State and the fan bases as well.
That's just in case y'all forgot. So the head coach of Penn State went out there and said, oh yeah, Howie Roseman, had a pitch to Saquon, and we know it's quote unquote illegal to tamper. And Howie Roseman is being accused of tampering. And I don't think it went down that way. I think James Franklin worded it the wrong way. Even Saquon said that, like, nah, it wasn't like that. It wasn't no direct contact with me. It was really me and my agent. But Howie Roseman and the Eagles are caught up in some BS due to bad language by the Penn State head coach. So, yeah, the punishment should be coming this week, and we'll see what happens. We might lose a pick. The team might get fined. I don't think it'll be that harsh of a pick. It might be a day 3 pick, but still a pick. And Howie Roseman, one of the things he did as far as the last draft, he recouped a lot of picks. So we got to lose like a day 3 pick. It's nothing to cry about, but it does suck because we know what Howie Roseman do with those like day 3-ish picks. He like to trade them up, and give us better picks for the following year. Or sometimes he might use them and get a steal. So just losing assets sucks due to, I guess irresponsible talking by another organization and then a college organization that's screwing us. At the end of the day, Howie was prepared for this. That's why he did everything he did as far as within the draft. Did Howie possibly talk to Saquon? Possibly. But I don't get the illegal tampering thing. Obviously, it's tampering in my opinion, because how do rumors come out to media and it's quote unquote not supposed to be any talk? I heard Saquon coming to the Eagles since February, and then once the time came, he came right to the Eagles. And I heard the Houston Texans, he even said it like it was between the Eagles and the Texans, and he chose the Eagles closer to home. Don't really have to move too far. And to be honest, I think he want revenge against the Giants. He's not going to say that blatantly, but when he retire, he's probably going to mention it like, yeah, I went to the Eagles because I wanted that revenge. Because remember how Deshaun Jackson talking now, like, you know what? The Eagles cut me. I went to Washington and I destroyed them every single time. And I think Saquon's going to give that same exact treatment to the Giants. They had a chance to pay him. They didn't. They lowballed him. Howie Roseman found the way to pay him. And Howie Roseman might be literally paying for that. So, again, shout out to Penn State head coach, man. But let's talk about James Bradberry. It is June 3rd. And James Bradberry, as I speak, and as you guys see this video in the morning, he's still on the team. And this is my theory of what's going to happen to James Bradberry. James Bradberry is going to be on the team longer than we think. There are going to be great reports that come out about him. Eagle Owl's going to talk about him, and also your favorite YouTubers. If I'm your favorite YouTuber, I might talk about it as well. Hell, we might even have second thoughts like, should we keep James Bradberry? Then, boom, it's going to be a trade because that's what the Eagles do. You got to think of the Jalen Rager thing. Remember, we was hyping him up like maybe he could be that third wide receiver, this and that. Nah, how we got rid of him, traded him to the Vikings. So what the Eagles do, and what I've realized that they try to do when they preparing to trade a guy, they usually try to hinder the bad reports coming out because they actually want to raise the trade value. So a lot of good reports are probably going to come out about James Bradberry these next couple days, especially during mandatory minicamp, that 4 through 6. And Bleacher Report put out, some type of report, I would just say, about what team will possibly suit him and what team he will possibly go to. But let's go over that team. All right, so Bleacher Report lists the Colts as a trade suitor for James Bradberry. Adding the soon-to-be 31 will give the Colts another starting option at cornerback and a good mentor for their young position group at the least. I mean, it makes sense for the Colts, and then he's familiar with the head coach Shane Steichen. Even though Shane Steichen's an offensive guy, honestly, I think the two best fits for him will be either the Colts or the Cardinals because he had his best year under Jonathan Gannon, and then Shane Steichen again knows him a bit, and he could really be that mentor, and that'd be a familiar face. If I was the Eagles, I'd try to send him to the AFC. Not saying like, yo, he's gonna be this big problem if he go to Jonathan Gannon, but let's not test that theory. If you're gonna send him somewhere, send him to the AFC, send him to the Colts, and to me, he has a better chance starting there or really competing there than with the Philadelphia Eagles. Look how deep we are at the corner position. Isaiah Rodgers, Darius Slay, Keely Ringo, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell. Like, you got guys that are really trying to compete. Hell, I should start throwing Sean Stevens in there, Avonte Maddox in there. So it's a lot of guys, and I just don't see how we keep James Bradberry because James Bradberry is still somewhat of a starter in this league, to be honest, even though he wasn't the best with us. But I think he's still a starter in this league. Why not try to get some assets from him? And you about to lose some assets. Try to get some assets for him and see what the young guys got. Let them battle it out. Let Keely Ringo and the Isaiah Rodgers and the Quinyon Mitchells and those guys, Cooper DeJean, really battle it out for that cornerback 2 spot. In my opinion, I think Isaiah Rodgers is the best corner on the team, currently speaking. But it's going to be interesting just watching those dudes battle with the pads on. With the pads on, so that means more a training camp, and we'll see who really get that spot. But again, back far to James Bradberry, yes, trade him, get some assets for him, even if it's a day 3 pick that you might have to give up anyway. Cool. But I'm telling you, a lot of good reports are going to come out about James Bradberry. But let's see what happens if we cut him or decide to trade him. What happens to the cap? Let's go over that. All right. So what happens to the cap? This is what happens. So if you cut James Bradberry, you got $4.3 million in dead cap and you got no cap savings. So if you decide to trade him, you get $3.1 million in dead cap, which is not far off from 4.3, but you do save 1.2 million against the cap. So it'll be more savings for 2025 and 2026 season. Not the most savings, but it would be something. So I think we should lean on possibly trading them, see what we could get. But if worse come to worse, we can't really find any suitors. The young guys are just balling out. You gotta release them, and wish the best of luck from there. But hopefully we could get something for James Bradberry. But hey man, what do you think and how do you feel about the news today? Howie Roseman might get punished for the Saquon Barkley thing. James Bradberry, his next move. And I've been pumping out these videos every day, and I'm gonna try to keep it on that track for a minute. I do have a long trip coming up, so my next couple videos, probably next week or the next 2 weeks, is going to be a different setup. I might not even have this microphone, but I might take it with me during my travels. But just be prepared for different setups. Even if I gotta be outside on my phone a couple days, we will see. I'll be on I guess I'll call it vacation or a business trip. But this is Eagle Al. I'm out.